Alright, good evening, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. And we are what looks like on a nice white sands beach with a storm out in the distance and some weather maps we'll get to. But the storm out there is very reminiscent to what we are going to talk about tonight, with the remnants of Beryl making their way and barreling through, essentially. Alright, so now you may hear thunder in the background. Nice ambiance as we talk about some weather here. Alright, so first up, from the National Weather Service, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with the flash flooding threat tonight and Saturday. Showers and thunderstorms producing heavy downpours, and that's possible this afternoon, so that was today, through Saturday. And this is really more so overnight tonight into the first part of your day tomorrow. Isolated to scattered instances of flash flooding are going to be possible. 1 to 2 inches of rain, rainfall rates 1 to 1.5 inches per hour. Usually that's something we talk about with snow, not rain. But 1 to 1.5 inches of rain per hour is something that is very intense. This afternoon, so this was today, through Saturday afternoon. Although I will say most likely it's going to be the Saturday morning with some remnants of the remnants sticking around until Saturday afternoon. River stream flooding, minor flooding along quick responding small rivers, streams, creeks, adjusting roadways. So we're going to see rivers possibly flooding their banks there. So there's a lot of flooding to deal with. But that's not the only thing out there. There's also heat advisories. We have a rip current statement here. So there's a lot of weather happening. So this is an instance where you would definitely want to have your weather radios ready, your emergency communications, your emergency power outage set ready to go. Now, when we look at the satellite here, it is nighttime, so we're not really going to see too much. So I have what's called the nighttime microphysics up, and let me play that there. So we're seeing what looks like a cone of clouds, and then no clouds and no clouds. Now that we can also see when we take a look at the water vapor. So we have a cone here of water vapor, dry. So this is all of the tropical moisture and humidity that we feel. That's what is coming through tonight and tomorrow, basically the next, say, 24-ish hours. So that's on the satellite there. And now for the radar. So I've expanded this out almost vertically here. Now, we are seeing not too much happening in the northeast, but kind of that cone I was talking about, that keeps extending down. So this system is really all through the eastern seaboard. It's still extending basically down from the Florida Keys all the way up through New Brunswick. So that's all the remnants spread out. So that's really fascinating that it's just so thin, but very spread out there. So that's what we're going to see making its way through. All of this is basically coming up the East Coast through our area. So anywhere in that kind of strip right there can see a lot of heavy rain tonight going into tomorrow, and it's going to start very shortly. So now with the forecast models and the good old tropical tidbits, I'm going to kind of reverse what I normally do. I normally start with the GFS, the larger scale model, and then work down. We're going to go the opposite way here. So on the HRRR, so we are starting with the 18Z. We're going to start with the 18Z and just go through here. We're seeing a little bit of action going into the overnight hours there around the New York City and Jersey area, and still kind of that cone I was mentioning. And then it looks like, it dissipates a bit, but nope, fires up again going into tomorrow morning. So pretty intense there in the morning in spots. It's more like a peppercorn kind of activity. We're not seeing directly a line. It's just really scattered. Now, continuing this, we're going to see by the afternoon, early afternoon, it's mostly out of the New York City area, and then it's really in the Boston area. So that's the core for Boston, is later in the afternoon on Saturday. Then that really starts to clear out overnight Saturday, and going into Sunday, it really looks like a pretty calm day. There may be some showers developing in Pennsylvania there, but that's really about it. For New York City, upstate New York, New England, and it's really nothing happening, and it looks like a fairly calm day. Isobars aren't tightly packed, so it doesn't look too breezy either. We're going to talk about the temperatures in just a bit, but at least for here, it looks like Sunday is going to be the better of the 2 days. Now, I wanted to bring up the NAM here just very briefly, because this is a little bit bigger forecast model. So this is showing almost the same thing in terms of consistency. So some showers starting and maybe an embedded storm in there. But then once that keeps going, it starts to dissipate a little bit going into the overnight hours. And then it fires up again Saturday morning. Some pretty intense spots it looks like it could be there as well. And then going into the afternoon hours, that makes its way slower, but out of the New York City area, and then later into the day, that's where we start to see the Boston area. So this is showing overnight Saturday into Sunday, so 2 a.m. Sunday. That's where it's showing the heart for Boston. When going back to the HRRR, the heart of that was maybe about 1920Z. So definitely a time discrepancy, but at least the positioning looks consistent there. But what's also consistent is going into Sunday. Again, some little showers happening in Pennsylvania, but for most of New England, New Jersey, New York there, we're not really seeing too much spread out isobars, so not as windy, which is good. And now let's take a quick look at the GFS as well. So on the GFS here, let me just load everything. There we go. Cool. So we're seeing kind of the same thing, some showers and a thunderstorm like I'm hearing off in the virtual augmented environment here. So that's showing overnight tonight, some showers, then it dissipates, then going into tomorrow morning, it kind of fires up again, I guess you could say. And then we're still going from 12Z to, say, 18Z, not Sunday, Saturday, out of the area. Now, the GFS, very interestingly, is the fastest of them all. That's shown by 18Z Saturday, so 2 p.m. It's pretty much out of the New York City area, out of the Boston area, and then going into Sunday, we're seeing some pretty clear conditions as well. Now, we're not really going to go too much because this is really just the weekend outlook here, but the GFS may not have a good handle on this. And historically, the GFS doesn't. When tropical systems that develop in the tropics are happening, the GFS doesn't handle that really well. The Euro does. So I'm going to bring up the Euro very quickly here. And this is where we're going to take a quick peek at that. So this is showing, and this is the same bigger scale, the Euro and the GFS. So showers from later this afternoon, overnight. This shows it pretty consistently through the overnight hours, so more intense in the morning, and then it dissipates by later in the day, and then Sunday's a nice clearer day. Actually, no, it's not. Right there. It starts to show a little bit more, so clearer day in the morning. So the Euro is a different story a little bit than the GFS. So GFS and the Euro are not in consistency at all. Or not at all, but mostly not. But the NAM and the HRRR are very consistent. They are the higher resolution forecast models compared to the GFS and the Euro. So I'm probably going to lean a little bit more towards these two, the HRRR and the NAM, for what I'm seeing with the forecast. So what I'm going to say for that is in the morning, we're going to see a re-intensification of those storms to the New York City area and New Jersey there. Then it's going to move east, and then it's going to be intense for Boston later in the afternoon and through the overnight hours for Sunday, or Saturday into Sunday for Boston. Then Sunday's going to be a nicer day, some showers again in Pennsylvania. That was very consistent here. Once that made its way through for Sunday, there we go. So going into Sunday, showers in Pennsylvania there. That's really about it. So these two very consistent. So that's where I'm leaning more towards these. All right, so overall, Storms are going to be on the horizon here, and the storms we're going to see overnight tonight through tomorrow. And for Boston, it's going to be a little bit later, so going again back into New England, it's going to be out there a little bit longer. Sunday looks like a clearer day, so nothing kind of like that. All right, so that's a wrap for this weather update. If you want to get the latest forecasts here, and you want to see more of this virtual weather, augmented weather forecast, which is really cool, feel free to hit that subscribe button below, and then a little bell icon right next to that so you get notified when I upload videos like this or I go live. So we'll be trying to get, again, live back happening on Tuesdays with my Games and Storms live stream. So this Tuesday, I have no plans, so I should be able to be live for you all. All right, so this is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero here. Stay safe through this. I'll try and keep you as updated as I can through this. And I will see you all in the next video.